Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining me at the University of Arizona Global Conference, Teaching and Learning Conference 2025. I'm excited to share with you today. So let's get started. Welcome to Ready, Set, Talk. I'm Amanda Yablun, a speech language pathologist or speech therapist for short, and I'm so honored that you're here with me today. Here's a little bit about me. I've worked with children for over 20 years, close to 25 years now, helping little ones build their communication skills both in the home and in the classroom. My work spans from early intervention, so that's in-home speech services. I did that for about 15 to 17 years and kind of made my way into the public schools, where I currently support early education students and their teams. And along the way, I've learned this, very important, that educators play an incredibly powerful role in helping children find their voice. And my passion throughout all these years is making communication support doable through practical strategies, emotional insight, and simple routines that fit naturally into your day. And as a holistic wellness practitioner as well, I also bring a calm, whole child lens to everything I teach because how we connect matters just as much as what we say. You don't need fancy tools, you just need a little support and a lot of heart. And that's exactly what this course is here to offer. Here's a little bit about why I created the course. I wanted to bring speech strategies out of the speech rooms and into the early childhood classrooms, where connection, presence, and play are the foundation of learning every day. This course is designed to help educators support communication development and natural moments during routines, transactions, and shared joy so language can blossom right where children already are. So each module will walk you through simple, effective practices you can use right away without adding stress to your day. We know as teachers, we don't need any extra stress or any extra things that we have to add to our schedule. Whether it's circle time, center play, transitions, or cleanup, you'll learn how to turn everyday classroom moments into rich opportunities for language growth. These strategies are designed to feel natural, doable, and supportive of the beautiful work that you're already doing. So the first step is connection. It says connection is key, and this really is the foundation of language learning. Before words, there's relationship. You will learn how simple moments of presence create the emotional safety your students need to connect and to communicate. The second step is preparing to play. In this module, you'll discover how to set the stage for joyful, focused play, so your classroom becomes a space where children are ready to imitate, interact, and grow. And then the third area here is teach to talk, and you will learn effective ways to model and support speech and language woven into your routines, transitions, and shared moments throughout your school day. This is kind of similar to what I was already saying, but what you'll learn today, each model will really walk you through these simple, effective practices that you can start right away. And we're going to be helping build connection and trust before expecting that communication. We're going to learn ways to model speech in natural, pressure-free classroom moments, strategies that integrate easily into daily classroom routines, and how to stay grounded yourself. I'll teach you some tools with that, how to stay confident and present while supporting early communication. All right, here's our first step. Step number one is ready, part of our Ready, Set, Talk program. And like I had mentioned before a child uses words, they need to feel safe, seen, and valued. Connection is the soil where communication takes root. And here's the good news. You're already creating moments of connection in your classroom every day. When we think about connection, it doesn't mean grand gestures. It means slowing down and being present. So here's how to strengthen that connection. When you do that, when you pause and really connect with your students, you'll start to notice a few things. They'll pay more attention. Learning will feel easier and more natural, and skills will start to stick. Why? Because when children feel emotionally secure, their brains are more open to learn and grow. And it's not about doing more, it's about being open to learn and grow. It's not about, it's really about that presence, being present for them. One of the simplest ways to boost connection is to physically meet your child where they are. And that could mean sitting on the floor, turning off the projector, background noise, or just getting face to face with your students. Even just 3 to 5 minutes of your undivided attention without trying to lead or take over can make a big impact. And this isn't about spending more time with your student, it's about making the time you do spend more meaningful. This step that we're talking about here with connection is about letting go of pressure and inviting more joy, enjoying shared moments, letting it be meaningful and not mechanical. You can smile and notice what the child is doing, reflect it back with warmth. Celebrate effort with specific praise, like you worked so hard. I notice how you're trying. Great job coloring. You can use playful interaction, high fives, facial expressions, silly sounds. Explore materials and environments with curiosity and not just instruction. Connection isn't just a strategy, it's the heart of early learning. And when you meet a child with presence, you're planting seeds for trust, attention, and speech. So let's just take a moment together. This is our educator pause, and let's take a slow breath in and out. And if it feels right, you can place your hand on your heart. You don't need to do anything fancy, just be here. So take a slow breath in and out. And I want you to ask yourself, where am I already building connection with my students in small ways? Probably already doing it so much. It's really just being aware of those moments and adding more in. What's one simple moment this week where I can show up with presence? Thinking about maybe a specific child, if you're an educator, a specific situation where you can be more present. So you don't have to do more, it's just be more in tune. Okay. I wanted to share with you too, real quick, that I was talking to my daughter earlier today, and I was telling her about how the breath in and breathing is her superpower. It's kind of her secret superpower. So whenever you're feeling overwhelmed, you can just you don't have to put your hand on your chest. Nobody has to know. Just take some really nice big breaths and then move on with whatever you need to do next. I know it can be overwhelming at times. Okay, and now we're moving on to step number 2, which is set, part of our Ready, Set, Talk. We are going to be preparing for play. And here we will be setting the stage for learning and connection. So before we ask children to attend, follow directions, or engage in learning, we first create the conditions where attention can grow. A little preparation, like soft lighting, like turning down the lights, organized materials, and a calm tone can help children feel safe and curious. And when a child feels regulated, welcomed, and emotionally secure, they're far more ready to connect engage, and communicate. Now we're going to talk about some specific ways that we can do that. Let's talk about where your student is sitting. We can create a space that invites stillness and readiness. So if a child is always on the move, that can be developmentally normal at times, but we still need them to be seated at times for learning, even if it's just for a couple of minutes. Sometimes a cozy, intentional seat helps center their attention for a few focused moments. So we can try things like a child-sized chair, an adult's lap, or even a cube. We have plastic cube chairs at my school with a plastic tray that goes on top. That's easily removable by the child. It just provides some boundaries and helps them feel more secure for learning, and what they're learning is right there in front of them on the tray. You can use visual or verbal cues to invite ready body time. At my school, we talk about calm body, and we hug our arms across our body to give a visual of having a calm body. We want to aim for calm, not control, with just enough stillness to support attention. And really, like I said before, even 5 minutes of ready to learn time can really make a big difference. Sometimes less than 5 minutes is all that we're getting. But moving towards more as the child becomes more connected and regulated and attentive. Create a joyful speech space with special toys. This strategy is about bringing fresh energy and intention to the toys we use for language building moments in the classroom. So I want to encourage teachers to curate a small set of speech-only toys that aren't always available. It doesn't necessarily even have to be speech-only. It's even for just that really nice structured adult play that we'll be talking about in a little bit, to start to keep those kind of tucked away so that they feel fresh and exciting and kind of novel, to help re-engage children's curiosity and attention. These toys don't need to be expensive or fancy. The key is to choose ones that the child already loves, or something in that genre. If they like dinosaurs, maybe it's dinosaur related, or cars, it's car related, and invite them to this shared play, and you're getting connection and co-regulation. Again, you can keep them tucked away and bring them out with intention, which makes the experience feel special for both the child and the educator. And these toys become a reliable invitation into connection, especially useful during one-on-one time, small groups, and for supporting quieter children. So really the core message I want you to take away from this slide is it's not really about the materials. It's nice to have those preferred materials that the child engages with, but it's really that the child wants to engage with, but it's also really about the intention behind that, right? What matters is that the space and the experience makes them feel connected, attuned, and joyful. Okay, what toy should I use? This slide helps remind educators that you don't need expensive or academic toys to support language development. What matters is choosing those materials, like I said on the last slide, that really provide that connection and interaction with that child. So it's not really about having a giant toy collection. It's about using a few intentional items that feel fresh and engaging. But I know as an educator myself that we tend to have a variety of toys to choose from. And if you're like me, I like to frequently buy new fun toys. I always feel like if I enjoy my therapy toys and what I'm playing with and what I'm engaging with a child with a lot, then the child is more apt to enjoy that too. You know, if I'm kind of like bored with the toys that I've been using, then you know, I'm not as excited to play with them and to engage. So I'm always changing up my toys and looking for, you know, more toys or new exciting fun things to use with my kiddos. So let's see. These toys that I'm going to show you can be rotated in and out of classroom centers or used during small group or language time as well. So here are some examples of my favorite go-to toys. And over the past 25 years, I've been using these toys pretty much nonstop. Some of them I still have had that whole time. I've held on to them and really guarded all the pieces. So Play-Doh is my number one favorite, or one of my top favorites, but I think it's so beneficial and you can be so creative. It's so functional. You can get, that grounding piece, the sensory input with all the movement, with the squeezing and rolling, and some really great following directions can happen with Play-Doh. You can be so creative, right, by making like balls and snakes and saying ball and like for snake. You can make a train or anything that the child loves, right? You can just make it out of Play-Doh and keep them really interested. And you can model color names and action words. So I just really think that's a great toy or activity for a child. Get some cookie cutters and just have a lot of fun with that. And then Mr. Potato Head is another great one. It's perfect for naming body parts, which is a concept that we're looking for at this age, and turn taking and functional phrases. And then board books, especially those with real photos that have some rhythm and rhyme, is nice too. But I really like those real photos because I think children can relate to those. Also, if the board books don't have too many pictures per page, I think that's really great too, especially when you're starting off and trying to get more of that attention. So, and if you have a variety of board books that have different topics that might be more suitable for a certain interest, whether it's trains or bugs or whatever it might be. That's really great too. Sometimes books that have flip books or something of, flip little opening parts to the book pages or even there's other kind of interactive things on the pages. That's really great too. Color sorting toys are great it brings mindfulness into play, right? Because you have like that repetition, that's the mindfulness, and you're supporting vocabulary and focus. And actually, so this is one of my other favorite toys, and this has been a really big addition to my toy collection and activity collection recently is toys that open and close. So you have that surprise element, which leads to more engagement. So I have a set of different colored barns. There's 10 different colored barns, and each barn has a different farm animal inside. And on the outside, you've got numbers 1 to 10 and the dots. So like number 1 just has 1 dot, number 2 has 2 dots. So you can do counting. You can put the animals in and out, work on concepts, put them to sleep. When you put them back in, you can say night night cow and hop them around and say moo 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 moo, things like that. It's just so engaging. The kids love it. I also have another set that is little picnic baskets with different foods in there, and the kids love that too, opening and seeing what's in there. And then I have like a little puppet that'll eat the food. So those are definitely some of my favorites. I think every kid loves that toy or those type of toys. And then my last toy that I listed is Echo mics, and they're so fun. They're so silly. They give great confidence for practicing speech and participation in group time as well. And this helps my students learn to repeat sounds and words into the Echo mic. You don't turn them on, you just speak into it, and it kind of echoes when you speak into the microphone. If you don't have that, you can't find that, you can always just use a paper towel roll or toilet paper roll and take turns talking into that, practicing words and sounds. And again, I really just want to encourage you to trust your instincts, trust your children's interest, and just remember that the intention over perfection always wins, right? It's the intention and really the energy and excitement that you put into the toys too. If you're having a really fun time with them, then there's a better chance that the child will have a good time with them too. You can also access my curated toy list on Amazon. You can go to Ready, Set, Talk and find some of these fun activities and toys on there too that you could find that I selected and put together for you. Okay, so I really love this slide, bonus tips and how to structure play. I just feel like this is so important. I think this is a really great skill to know as to how to teach young children through play. So the first area is structured adult-led play. And this is when the educator guides the activity step by step. You might seat your student in a cube chair with a tray or at a child-sized table. And then present an activity like a puzzle or a stacking toy. And you can continue the pace by offering one piece at a time, modeling a word or action as you go. So this structure can help reduce overwhelm and build attention. And you can think of it as inviting them into success one piece at a time. So what that really looks like is you might have a farm animal puzzle. So you're going to dump out all the pieces and then you just give them the empty puzzle board. And then you keep all the pieces to yourself. You're the adult leading the play. So of course, your student is going to want to just grab all your pieces and just put them in, but you want to use this as a teaching opportunity. So you're gonna decide what you want to do with it. Maybe you want to see if they can choose the correct animal appropriately. So you say, you hold up two different puzzle pieces and you say, where's the cow? And then they choose the cow or you help them and then they put it in the puzzle piece or in the puzzle board. Or you might say, what's this? And they say duck and they're able to label that and then they put it in the puzzle board. So it's about really controlling the activity in order to help them learn. And with Play-Doh, you could just give them some Play-Doh, right? Like half of a Play-Doh container, give them one cookie cutter. You keep all the other Play-Doh, all the other pieces to yourself. You're in control of those things. And then you're helping them with that. So you're helping them, pat the Play-Doh out and you're using some nice words like push, 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 and you're helping that motion. And then you're helping them put on, the cookie cutter and push, and you're making something together and using whatever vocabulary, following directions, whatever you might be working on, but you're controlling that activity. The second area, full circle play, it simply means that there's a beginning, the playing portion, and finishing the activity together. For example, you take out a toy, you play it for a few minutes or however long together, and then you clean it up. It sounds really basic, but this full circle approach teaches sequencing, it builds confidence, and it creates a clear sense of closure. It helps your child learn that activities have a beginning, middle, and an end, just like a story, right? So that it kind of helps with reading concepts as well. And if you're playing and your student wants to exit the activity, you can assist them with helping you clean up. So guiding them back to the activity, helping them, giving them a couple of toys or pieces of that toy to put in the container or the bag. And then you can, and I also sing the cleanup song as well. And you can say all done and then you're finished. So full circle play is really, really important. It's one of the foundational skills for participating in a guided activity with an adult. And then finally, the I do, you do model play is my favorite for boosting early communication. So imitation of actions occur before imitation of speech, right? So children have to be able to imitate an action like pushing a button. You push the button and then they push it, and they're like, oh, they saw how you did it, so they did it. Or um, you throw a ball and then they throw a ball, things like that. Or blowing a kiss, they blow a kiss. So imitation is necessary for speech language development. The action imitation comes first, and then the speech imitation comes after. You model something first, like pushing a car or room, and then you invite your student to try. So again, it's really simple and repeatable, which is perfect for toddlers or young preschoolers learning to communicate. And it's not about pressure, it's about invitation. All of these are about invitation and modeling clearly, staying playful, and celebrating the smallest moments of imitation. So whether you're guiding activity, moving through a play sequence, or simply modeling a fun sound, you are continuing to create that connection. And that connection is what builds the communication. So that's why the connection piece is so important, because it really is necessary to build those communication skills. All right, let's see what's next. Let's take a little educator pause. The power of less in the classroom. So go ahead and take a deep breath and soften your shoulders. And then let's reflect together. Remembering your secret superpower in your breath. And I want you to reflect on, is there a corner of my classroom that I could gently simplify or reset for connection and play? So some classrooms have a calm corner that's more quiet and relaxed. And that could be a good area for connection in your room. If you don't already have that. And then think about what toy, material, or routine brings the most joy or engagement to my students right now. And then can I offer just 5 minutes of undivided presence to one child or one moment today? And again, it says you don't need a picture perfect classroom. You just need a little rhythm, a little intention, and a whole lot of heart. And now we're on to step number 3, which is talk in our Ready, Set, Talk presentation here. So this is the part that so many parents and teachers wait for those first words, or growing that communication if they already have sounds and words, pushing it forward. So here's the gentle truth, really. Talking doesn't start with perfect words, right? It begins with connection, as we've talked about, so important. Connection through sound, movement, play, and presence. And when we meet children right where they are, whether that's babbling, gesturing, or simply making eye contact, or building a bridge toward communication. And when we model calm words, offer simple choices, and stay playful, we help their voice emerge naturally. It's not about pushing, it's about guiding with one sound, one smile, one shared moment at a time. Okay, let's start where talking really begins, which is sound play. So some of you may have students that are still babbling, saying silly sounds, that have those adorable made up words or jargon. So all of those are really meaningful. So really recognizing those as something important. So when you imitate those sounds back to them, it shows that you're listening, that you hear them, and that they're being seen. So that's a really big part of that. So when you hear, especially with babbling, if you're hearing like ba 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 ba, da 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 da, it's a really great time to repeat back those sounds, just so they know that you heard them, that it's important, or that you like it, that You would like them to continue to make those sounds. You're smiling, you're engaging as you're imitating it back. And then we have jargon, which is a little bit different than just the babble. The babble is more like sound play and practice. Jargon is actually really meaningful to the child, but it's unintelligible. We can't understand it yet. So a lot of times when kids are starting to move to a new level of speaking, they start to use this jargon because they're trying to expand on the utterance length, or longer words, but their mind, their brain, and their mouth just can't kind of get it all together yet, right? They're still working on it. So you might hear a child say, it could be even a two-word phrase. It could be, daddy, and that might be bye, daddy, right? They just don't get both words. They get this one of them. The other one is kind of just kind of slurred, right? Or you might hear a child that's moving into trying to say longer utterances have some jibber jabber kind of in the middle. So, mommy, outside, right? But in the middle, it might be, mommy, I want to go outside. So you can repeat back if you know what the whole sentence should sound like, you can repeat that back. So they would have all those words that possibly they could add in next time. Right? And then we have number 2, begin with sounds. So we begin with these intentional sounds. We're going to keep it small and simple. We're going to model fun, easy sounds like uh-oh, go, moo, wee, bah, right? We're going to really make them enthusiastic and fun. We're going to say them throughout the day, during play, while reading books, even while walking down the hall, really being able to use those words a lot with a lot of inflection. And actually, animal sounds are really great for teaching because there's a lot of different consonant sounds and vowel sounds within the animal sounds themselves. So it gives a lot of practice with a variation of sounds. But remember, we're not asking them to repeat. We're just offering a really rich sound environment where they can absorb, explore, and eventually try to say it themselves. And a lot of times they do, especially with uh-oh or go. Uh-oh, like if, something's dropping, something's happening, uh-oh. They'll a lot of times repeat that as often one of the first words that they have. I'm gonna take a drink of water real quick here. So we want to go ahead and celebrate close attempts. We don't expect perfection. So if they say ooh for moo, that counts. If they say b for ball, totally fine. Every sound they try is a building block to the path leading to more speech. All right, number 3, action plus word equals increased imitation. So let's talk about how to help words stick. And that is starting with movement. So when we pair a word with a fun, simple action, it becomes easier for a child to imitate. For example, if you say hop while bouncing a toy, like we talked about with the farm animal toys with the barns, if you have the little bunny and you're saying hop, 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 when you add that action, it makes it more engaging, and there's a greater chance the child is going to repeat that sound when there's an action. Or if you're blowing bubbles and you've got the action of popping the bubbles, there's a greater chance they might say pop, 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 because the word kind of goes along with the action. And again, with go, if you're rolling a ball back and forth across the floor and you say go, and then there's a good chance as the child rolls it back, they might say go as well. So these playful moments connect sound, action, and attention, helping your child link meaning with the word, and movement really helps words come alive. really songs and movement. There's a lot of really great, finger plays and things like that. Itsy Bitsy Spider and those sorts of nursery rhymes too that are really good for learning those sounds and filling. You can fill in the blank too at the end of those songs. Now we're going to move on to a powerful shift, which is modeling more than request. So modeling is what we really want to be doing more than requesting. So often we feel tempted to say ball, say cat, but that pressure can sometimes backfire. Instead, just speak the word naturally, say it during play routines and shared activities, and your child will start to absorb those sounds. And it doesn't always happen right away, but they will begin to repeat back some of those sounds. So model clearly, pause, and then trust. So you might say ball, and then pause and ball. And maybe they'll start to learn to say some of those words. Language learning is an instant, of course, that builds with time, consistency, and that calm presence. All right. Tip number 5, one of my favorite ways to build language naturally, I've been using this so much over the years, is offering 2 choices. So when we give our student a choice, like, do you want milk or water, we're not just helping them decide, we're sparking their brain to link words with meaning. And when we show the options, as we say them, we are engaging both visual and auditory processing as well. So you could use favorite snacks at school, colors, toys. If you are working on colors, maybe you're coloring a paper together. Do you want red or blue? Or for toys, you want puzzle, book, those sorts of things. So anything that you feel like the child is motivated by, and then in the beginning, the gestures really count too. So if they point to milk, you can smile and say milk, okay, milk. And you're modeling the word and pairing it with the meaning without any pressure to the child. And eventually those gestures that they're just pointing at first turn into words. So just keep modeling and they'll catch on to that. And tip number 6. This one's simple but incredibly powerful. You can hold objects by your mouth when you're naming them and as you're talking. So you might hold a car by your mouth and say car, car, and then they'll be watching how you say it. Instead of, if you were to hold the car down by your lap, then they're not looking at your face and you're getting some of that eye contact too, and then they're looking at your mouth to see how you're saying it. So it keeps it really, keep your face expressive and playful, and helps to match those words with their meaning. Let's see, we got number 7, simple signs. Signs are an incredible stepping stone for speech, and they aren't a replacement. That's a big misconception. A lot of people think, well, if I teach my child signs, then they won't learn words, but they do. It's speech is so much easier than signs as well. But signs are a bridge for learning speech, verbal speech. So using simple signs like more or all done helps your child communicate before they can speak. And that can reduce a lot of frustration as well. A lot of times we see children are really, really frustrated. They get really upset when they're not understood. So sometimes if you can just teach them that they want more, that they're all done. They can say please, that they want something. That can really help them feel a lot better and less frustrated. You can model a sign while saying the words so that they get that, right? They get both the visual and the verbal output, so more. And when it feels natural, you can gently guide their hands to help them learn the sign too. And then be sure to respond quickly when they use it. So if they're saying more, if they want a snack, then immediately give them the snack, so they can pair that sign with the what they asked for. Okay, so every time you do this, you're building understanding and showing your child, I see you and I understand you, which is really powerful. And finally, tip number 8, use a sing-song voice. Speech doesn't have to be serious. In fact, the more musical and playful your voice is, the more your child will tune in. That's why kids love, they love music and dancing and songs. There's so many great songs that I use on YouTube. I get the kids dancing and singing along. It's just great for speech practice. So go ahead and elongate those words, exaggerate those syllables, and use a rhythmic, melodic tone when you speak. So instead of just saying, uh-oh, you can say, uh-oh, and then ready to go. A lot of different inflections in your voice. Kids love rhyme. It draws them in, invites them to play with sound. And you can also use, if you have a child that's mainly just saying single words and you want to try to get them to use more complex words like 2-syllable words, you can say baby, right? So it kind of sounds like baby, like back and forth, or bye, dad, if you're trying to get them to put 2 words together. Or like even a longer word, like, I didn't think about this when I was writing, when I was preparing. Let's see, you could do butterfly. That's a good one. So they kind of get, and sometimes they'll say butterfly. So it's like really soft. But I might even be like that. So they're getting the syllables of it, but then later the sounds will come in and it'll be the real word as you're modeling after that. So really making speech musical is very fun. It's very it helps them be attentive more to what you're modeling. And then we're almost to the end of our top 10 tips here. We got 2 more. The last 2 are simple but so powerful. Tip number 9 is big then small. This one I use a lot too. It's about giving context first and then offering a single word to your child so that they might be ready to say it on their own. So you could say, do you want to go outside? And then say out, out, and prompt them. And they're going to know by the way you model that they might want to try to say out. Or you might say, let's take a bath. Bath, bath. Because you don't want them to lose the context and hearing that conversational speech with that long phrase. But you also don't want them to not be able to repeat anything back. So this is a really good one to practice with your students. And number 10 is perfection is not required. We know that new talkers don't say words perfectly, right? And they don't need to. It's just like anything else. We don't run right away when we learn to walk. We, we're kind of going around the couches, right? We're holding on to things. Then finally we walk a little faster, and then finally we're running. And so if a child says ball, ball, that's great. That's progress. Say yay, yes, ball. Or if they say duh for dog, perfect. It's a really great start. And then just keep modeling it the correct way, and they'll get it for sure. And again, just going back to that goal of connection, not correction. And I just feel like that connection piece we've talked about so much, but I also feel like it applies to parents as well. I've had a lot of really great connection with parents in the home doing in-home therapy. Then I also have connection with parents through my early childhood program as well. So anytime you're really able to connect better with anyone, right, you're going to get more progress, more carryover of strategies from parents, and it just makes all the difference. So it's always good to remember. So we have our last educator pause, model from love, not pressure. Take a big deep breath again. And release the urge to get it perfect. And ask yourself, what's one playful way I can model language during our day? Just thinking about some new ways as you're engaging with students or children. Where can I offer a word or sound without expecting a response? Or maybe even just how can I be more accepting of not getting a response when I model? And how can I bring more joy into our shared sound moments? Okay. All right. We did it. We made it all the way through. I'm going to take another drink. We talked a lot about that building of connection through shared moments. We learned how to prepare the environment for playful learning. And we learned about those strategies for modeling sounds and gestures and early words with warmth and joy. So sometimes you might be wondering, I've been doing these things and I'm not seeing any progress. And I do want to assure you that speech develops on its own timeline for all students. Some kids take a little bit longer, and that's okay. But if you're still not seeing progress after 3 to 6 months of using these strategies consistently, then that's also a cue to explore more support. And here's how you can help. So first of all, I want you to trust your instincts. Educators often notice early signs first, right? You guys have those gut feelings about who might need some extra support. And if you are not in the school system, if you know children that are younger than 3, then you could encourage the parent to explore early intervention, which is the in-home speech services typically. It's a free or low-cost service in every state, so you can just look that up. You can try searching your state and then early intervention. And then for ages 3 to 5, you could suggest preschool speech language screening through your school district is typically free and a program that's provided through state funding. And if you are in the school system, then you can consult your school's SLP, speech language pathologist, or connect with a local provider for guidance as well. It's also, private speech and language therapy services that can be recommended as well if you're not in the school setting. So you don't have to be the expert, but just find someone who can help support you. That's the power of early education, really. It's so important. Okay. So if you as an educator need any extra support or you have a parent who needs extra support, I do offer one-on-one coaching tailored to your child or student's needs. So in our sessions, we'll explore what's working, release what's not, and build a path forward that feels both encouraging and doable. So whether you're feeling unsure or just want to talk, I'm here to support you. All right. So you can reach out for a free clarity chat or book a session anytime with me. Just send me a message at amanda@lightandlanguagecollective.com, or you can find me on Instagram and Facebook, also at Light and Language Collective. All right, let's see. There we are. We're at the end. Thank you so much for being here and for the love you pour into your child's journeys every day. And if you're training to be a teacher and educator, it's going to be wonderful. You have so many great tips and strategies now for speech development. And I hope you're leaving with tools, encouragement, and the reminder that you're not alone in this. You're doing beautifully every word, every effort, every moment of presence, and it matters. From my heart to yours, thank you.